Have at me, bro. This is Omega 99 Nemesis on my 15th episode of my Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin lore play. After summoning BRAZIER DRAGON and Blaze Zone, that's an interesting name, I actually decided to go ahead and tackle the Old Dragonslayer boss, as well as, the Guardian Dragon for him. I actually recorded this footage a day in advance without meaning to, cause, well, I ended up accidentally hitting those BRAZIER DRAGON summon signs, so I thought, well, I might as well go ahead and get this out of the way. If you're wondering why I sound a little different if I do it all, it's because, well, my tongue has a small cut and it's kind of sore at the moment. So it kind of hurts to talk, but I can push through one episode, I think, a day. So with that in mind, after going through the usual enemies up to this point, after killing the Dragon Rider boss, those High Knights that were normally passive will become aggressive, outright patrolling the area and such. However, know that the one here and the next one are automatically aggressive, unlike the rest. So as the two dealt with the High Knight and killed him, I was drawing attention from this guy. Now, up the staircase, there will be another High Knight with a spear, and on top of that, a Guardian Dragon. You've seen me fight the Guardian Dragon once as a Phantom already. I'm sorry for sniffling, I just woke up and I'm a little congested, but I'm actually feeling a lot better than normal in that sense. At this point, BRAZIER DRAGON seems to have gone on ahead to draw attention like I did that other time, even getting the High Knight. That was a tricky one. I'm surprised he did that, actually, because, well, yeah, I would have taken out the High Knight first if possible. So after getting a Petrified Dragon Bone and a Watched Dragon Parma, BRAZIER DRAGON gets killed by the High Knight. I am sad to say that it would have been nice to actually kill the Dragon Slayer with him, as he was very helpful. After lowering the drawbridge, you go up it, and at the end of it you'll get a human effigy from a chest and something else, as I recall. This was where you got the Ring of Binding, by the way. Yeah, human effigy and an old radiant life gem. That was actually there like it was before. Now we're gonna give me a few moments to actually get some phantoms. Alright, now that I have my phantoms summoned, I'm gonna go ahead and make special thanks to the gamer tags of Mr. Fist 88, Chicharito 734, PMV Aldridge Q, Dank Psycho, MB6, Shane Rinker, Constant Rem, Human Crack, yes, I hate that name myself, and Mr. Kushka for their helps in the last episode. You each gave me something that allowed me to do the episode to the best of my ability, and I thank you. Like I said, my tongue's cut, so I'm having a hard time speaking right. Alright, now we're gonna fight the Old Dragonslayer, who's gonna be familiar if you played Dark Souls 1. I'm not gonna be talking a bit about lore this episode because of how my mouth feels, so I'm going to go just on the gameplay and tactical side for the moment. I'll do something in the next episode if I'm feeling up for it. Alright, so this is a very parryable enemy. His first lunge attack is easy to parry if you know what you're doing. I wasn't comfortable doing this for the moment because I didn't want to have to fight through everyone in case I got killed. So instead I focused on fighting defensively. You can even see me just holding back and healing at every opportunity rather than just going up and wailing on him. Alright, so he uses dark element attacks, which can be very devastating if you have low resistance. His lunge attacks are also pretty effective, and he has several attacks that can do a lot of damage. His combos, however, are also have multiple instances where you can parry that leave him vulnerable, but don't expect to be able to riposte them. You won't be able to, which I do think is a serious mistake in terms of gameplay. However, as you can see with a posse of 4, even with Masterless Glencore, he is quite easy to handle when you know what you're doing. He's also my favorite boss to spar with. Alright, now we're gonna go talk to Blue Sentinel Targray, who can initiate you into a covenant.
Sentient being. You have obtained proof you are worthy of joining our order. You may call yourself one of us, and are free to plant your roots in this garden of the gods. Be proud. I, Targray, do proclaim from this day you are a Knight of the Blue. Rejoice and bask in your new honor. You are no longer a mere vagabond. You are now a guardian, a Knight of the Blue. Proud Knight, take this. Wear this ring and shine light upon stone. Then you will hear the voices of the Blue Apostles. Listen for their cries of help and repel the malicious invaders. This is the proud work of the Knights of the Blue, the way they elevate themselves to a higher plane. I'll provide what you need. You may visit me at any time. Proud Knight, you may come to me, Targray, for help.
Alright, so the Blue Sentinels, it summons you to another world where players being invaded so that you can defend them from the Red Phantoms. I don't care for this covenant, but it is a neat idea, though I think it's poorly executed. If I interrupted a dialogue with Targray, I apologize. I thought I already talked to him. Now then, he sells you miracles and equipment whenever you're a part of his covenant. You need a token of fidelity, which you might be able to pick up somewhere, or you can just get it by being summoned as an actual phantom and not a shade. This is the only time I think a token of fidelity has actual value. Anyways, so aside from that, this is a covenant that sees very little usage in my experience, but I think they may have fixed that with this edition of the game. In the metal chest to my left, there should be, there are two shields, the Tower Shield and then the Cleric's Parma, and on the other one there should be a couple of cracked blue white orbs you can use to invade players with higher sin counts. You sin by killing NPCs, aggroing them does nothing, but killing them does. Also, by invading and killing another player with the cracked red eye orb is a good way to start as well. Alright, so yeah, here's where you get the two shields I told you about. The chest opposite of that has blue eye orbs. And then down there's a staircase behind me that'll lead to a bonfire, which I will go into to go to Majula. Anyways, I'm actually going to get out of this covenant quickly because I really have no real use for it. I mean, its spells can be unlocked elsewhere, as I'm led to believe. Alright, now I'm going to show you where I'm planning on going next. That'll be the Huntsman's Copse. We're going to go to Lycia of Lendelt, who will make the path for us for a small sum. Also, we're going to pick up an item that is essential to any playthrough, at least for me.
An honor to see you again. This room is not as it seems. There are two, not one pathways leading out. And only this lovely thing reveals the other path. And this, you lovely thing, only runs on miracles. Shall I provide you with one?
Interesting, you'll see her hand move to the object there to make it move. Almost as if she didn't use miracles, considering they glow and involve a sacred chime.
Go ahead then. Oh, done so soon.
So after getting Rouge Water and leaving that idiot in the dust, Jesus, my voice is so bad right now. We're gonna go up and speak to Falcon the Outcast. You need 8 intelligence and faith to talk to him, otherwise he'll ignore you. He'll sell you dark hexes, basically, as well as certain equipment I wasn't expecting, like the Chaos Rapier, which I plan on getting, as well as the Life Protection Ring. Now, Understand that this ring will break upon death, but it'll let you keep humanity and all souls on you. It costs 3,000 souls to repair and is a vital resource, and replaces the Ring of Sacrifice from Dark Souls 1 as a repairable ring. On another note, it is pretty much something I insist getting on every playthrough. It's not something you want to be without, and I've heard they only had one. I was going to go to No Man's Wharf, but a friend told me this was the only way to get one. I'm looking at the Chaos Repair and Shield because this wasn't here in the original cut. Anyways, the ring costs 6,000 souls, but you need to have 8 intelligence and faith in order to buy it off this person. So the next area I am planning on going to for maybe this, I might do it this episode, but I doubt it, because this is more of a miscellaneous episode, but the next area we'll be going into is the Huntsman's Copse. So let's light the first bonfire, return to Majula, and figure out what I'm doing from here. Alright, so I was summoned to BroodieBroski to fight the Dragon Rider. So, you know, this was when I was just farming souls, but I thought this was cool because in this version of the fight, it didn't end nearly as quick, and actually, I parried every attack. The Dragon Rider has a very parryable moveset. In fact, I don't even think he hits me. Notice I'm two-handing the rapier. Now, this is why I love the rapier. It allows you to parry attacks with ease, but also just stab them. Just like that. I even just did a randomly pressed parry. Right there. You can't touch me. And while he does that, focuses on me, everyone else is wailing on him. This isn't a bad tactic to take when you want to fight this guy. Distract him with parries while your allies wail on him. I just wanted to show you that because I thought it was neat. Alright then, let's get to the rest of the miscellaneous stuff. Alright, so after having a surplus of cracked red-eye orbs, I thought I'd go ahead and be naughty. I've been invading other players lately just to play with the PvP, and I've been doing better than I expected. Alright, so I've invaded Apostasy, and, you know, I did do the bow, and although I said it's a gambit, I did it this time because, to be fair, I'm invading, and it's only fair. I thought it'd be nice. Now, the point of invasions is to kill the host for a reward in souls and a human effigy. And I actually got almost all my targets. Like, I think I had like a 3 out of 4 average. So, with that in mind, Apostasy, unfortunately, was already hollowed, so he was already at a disadvantage. I bowed to him and went on my way to invade the next poor person. Next, my second victim, slayya. Now, I actually did bow. I think I didn't bow, actually, because I saw he was already running. And I decided I was going to take this shortcut to the ledge where the throwing knives I found were. From here, I then thought I'd ambush him from above. And I did do well enough here, though he almost got me. This guy definitely caught me with my pants down. And honestly, if I hadn't been careful and if I didn't have the reflexes, he would have actually killed me. That's mostly what I remember, but I also... Oh, he has a good shield. So I had to... I played with him using throwing knives and fire bombs, thinking maybe I could get a read on how he fights. Then when I see him pull out the bow, I realize I do need to take him a bit more seriously. That weapon he's got does do some good damage, too, as I recall. Oh yeah, that weapon did do good damage. He almost got me. Yeah, right there. That weapon chains very nicely to do damage. I think he's got like a hide spear. I did do good damage to him as well, and I did eventually get him, especially when I parried. Spears are extremely easy for me to parry, at least. And you can see I also kept on him so that he couldn't Estus. If he Estus, he'd be dead, so... He was smart not to use Estus, and this guy knew what he was doing as well. He was guarding, but he was also a little too defensive. I don't know if he was waiting for a Blue Phantom to help him, but... In the end, he did pay for being on the defensive too much. And that's target number 2. Alright, so for those of you who haven't noticed, this video clip starts in the middle of a fight. I don't really remember what happened here. I'll know who I'm dealing with in a moment. I think I know who this is. Basically, I got summoned to this guy's world and couldn't find him, and I thought I'd experiment with the white ring. The white ring makes you look like a white phantom in invasions, and outside of invasions as well. So basically, you can trick people into thinking you're just a phantom, which in turn can trick invaders into thinking you're not the target, but can also trick targets into thinking you're not invading. Of course, this isn't as effective as it once was, though it was a funny tactic to me. and something I did get some use out of at first. I got this when from Dina and Tilo, and I eventually decided I want to try it, but honestly the white ring doesn't do what it's used to, and I think it should be reserved strictly for role-playing purposes. Another side note in PvP, never have your ring of life protection equipped, because you'll still break it if you get defeated in PvP. So it's better to just take your lumps as a phantom, and even if you're a host and you're invaded, if you're near a bonfire, no harm's really done, because you're no longer human. So after investigating this area for a while, I keep wandering trying to find this guy. He does inevitably beat me. This is my first actual defeat. I'm getting the vibe that the white ring is bad luck for me, so I'm not going to use it really anymore. Plus it is kind of dishonest, but it's also dirty fighting, so fair enough. Anywho, it's also only really... Yeah, there he is. The guy that killed me, I think his name is Puglife3355. I do a bow to him out of, basic courtesy, even though I got a guy approaching him. The guy was equipped with a tower shield and an axe of some sort that does good damage. Fire or magic, I think. Fire, I think. Yeah. No, light. It's a hide axe, I think. Something like that. No, they don't have axes. But either way, he does have my number pegged early on. I let myself get badly messed up. And unfortunately, yeah, I start playing a game of chicken with him because I know I don't have a heal option. I might have had a snowball's chance, except he did have my number pegged real well. I attempted taking a shot at him, and he couldn't get me with his pyromancy, because pyromancy is good to dodge. You have to be clever if you want to hit someone with it. But at the same time, he didn't need to be clever. He had the advantage. I was one hit, I'd die. So I ended up going at him. He even reinforced his weapon with a pyromancy flame of some sort. I think he just used charcoal pine resin. However, I will say that I wasted time using throwing knives. I should have just taken my lumps earlier because, this wasted time for me and resources. So this is a lesson to myself in my first defeat. So that's 2-1 right now. Yeah, so Puglife puts me down and I wasted a cracked red eye orb and several other items on top of that. No hard feelings, the guy did good and I was careless. Moving on. Alright, the next target is the TheTrueRabZERO. Now, here I'm going to run about, try to find him, because, I see a bunch of enemies aren't present, so I'm figuring, okay, maybe he's already been through here. In reality, he's still towards the bonfire, so... This one was another good fight that I believe was close. I think I won this one in all. Yeah, I won this one. So this would make 3-1. Anyways, we start off with some distance between each other because I want to gauge his ranged options. Then I start to close in as, well, I won't lie, he wasn't a bad opponent, but he did sort of let me get too aggressive. I mean, I say aggressive is bad in this game, but in PvP, aggressive is kind of necessary. He was a little too passive. Granted, he had the option to heal, but at the same time, you don't want to let your opponent dominate the fight under any circumstances. And when you're fighting, yeah, he did backstab me, but also note he did very little damage, as backstabs doesn't work quite as well on players as it does on general enemies, usually. I don't know if this guy was a mage specialized or if he just hadn't had time to really level up his character. Either way, he did I did have him slightly outclassed. I probably would have lost if I wasn't taking him seriously, but aside from that, also right there, I didn't know how that happened. He somehow just worked, he somehow hit me. That didn't make sense to me. He kept switching to the bonfire, which was only actually served to draw me closer, as I knew he would have to take time to cast, which allowed me to catch him off guard. He also, I don't know if I also started using my mail breaker in my left hand so that I could damage through shields. At this point, I am somewhat more defensive, but at the same time, I stagger more easily than I stagger enemies more easily, so even still, I'm still able to go on the offensive with relative ease. And then I get the idea to use the mail breaker, whose strong attack, when it's just wielded one-handed, pierces shields. I'm not sure why he attacked me with a shield, though. That doesn't make sense to me. So the mail breaker does make an excellent weapon to use for this, and it's also good for dual wield, for power stances. But eats into your stamina badly. I wouldn't recommend relying on it at all times. But switching between power stancing my rapier and mail breaker to just having it in each hand is an excellent way to make your character versatile, as either way you're able to parry. Anyways, I was able to put him down. And now to make the score 3-2, this guy I'd actually played like a 4-minute mind game, just hiding, waiting for him to come and get me before deciding I wanted to just come and get him because I was running low on time. After letting him do the bow, because it's only fair, I do go and fight him. This guy was a courteous fighter. In other words, he went like Mortal Kombat on me. And used miracles as well. This guy used cyan armor and was a pretty good fighter. I almost had him. In fact, me and my friend laughed hard at how I lost this, because honestly, one part felt like I was cheated, and one part felt like I sabotaged myself. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But yeah, this guy really got some good hits in, but then I did get some good hits in myself. However, yeah, with this sword, I might have even gotten him if I'd... That's what was frustrating, actually, because how I died. I see him start to do this, and I take cover, not realizing it phases through and pushed me off the edge of the cliff. Me and my friend laughed at this, though my friend was kind of obnoxious about it, but it was still kind of funny at the same time. My next target is Kaguamaru, and this guy will make the score 4-2. However, he does in fact bring in a blue phantom whom I don't kill, but I do get my target all the same. With that in mind, I am going to take him down. This guy was, well, a good tactic if you're a member of the Pilgrims of Blue is that you buy time when invaded to fight to get a Blue Sentinel, but then he went and left himself on that cliff. He almost died right there. Thing is, he got himself cornered too quickly. He should have been holding his ground to an extent. His greatsword also made it hard. You can also see that Savage Wolf 13 came to assist my target, and was a high-level Blue Sentinel at that. But by the time he arrived, the guy was already cornered and dying. My next target is PAPERPLANEx, bumping the score, I believe, to 5-2, though I might be wrong. I think I'm not, though, actually. Regardless, I scan the area trying to figure out where he is, once again seeing some enemies are not present, and I find him roughly at the bonfire, working my way over there. This guy used a great shield, so of course using the mail breaker is a good idea. Anyway, so yeah, I find him there, and I actually do bow to him to be fair, and when he doesn't respond, I decide, well, it is a dirty fight, might as well get the backstab. You can say this is bad form, but honestly, if you're not going to pay attention, you leave yourself open to stuff like this. It's just the fact is that this isn't a duel, so yes, I don't see anything wrong with doing this. And he does start getting his game up again afterwards. I don't know why he didn't do anything before, I don't know what he was doing, so, He uses a mace, which actually is pretty good at killing, as I recall. Actually, I almost thought this was the guy who killed me the third time, but no. This guy used just a basic mace. Now, as a trait, though, his attack rate is slow and he uses emit force. That's the thing that one guy killed me, but the thing is, it's also easy to predict if there's a lot of room to maneuver with. It fires in a line, so it's easy to dodge. Also, after parrying him, I can get a good hit in with that. Yeah, right there. I took like a quarter of his max health with that hit. Unfortunately, the Great Shield doesn't give him many defensive options in terms of parrying and riposting, and after that, he just couldn't keep up with me. Alright then, let's move on, shall we? My next mark is Mise-en 3. This one is 6-2 now because this one didn't survive very long. This is actually the briefest encounter of them. I don't know why he was fighting with two swords, and honestly he got ganked by a Hide Knight and myself in the process. Oops. Next I invaded the world of Lohtnem. I don't know if he's trying to go for a Loki name, but he's wearing a jester set, so that makes me think Loki. The guy pretty much goes as far ahead as he can, and I, being an idiot, decide to go far ahead of the enemies who will just follow him anyway. It was careless of me, but I also wanted to prevent him from getting any support. However, this guy clearly had my number pegged and was clever this time. This guy actually did have me pinned. Actually, despite being cornered, he did know how to fight. This was a calculated choice on his part rather than a mistake. You'll see in a moment, his mace actually deals magic damage, and it can stun me in one hit. That's a pretty good stagger he's got going for him. Probably he's got the stone ring that I'm wearing to do this. I might have even had him, but unfortunately, I couldn't. One hit, it took me 2 hits to stun him. It took him 1 to stun me. So I was the one constantly getting punished for any offensive average. I tried maybe knocking him off the ledge, but he got me. Alright, so the final score was 6-3. Now I'm playing as Tacit de Grigier, who is my 4th character who's a sorcerer. I won't go into his backstory. I just wanted to show this Pursuer fight because I thought she might get a kick out of this. Subarch Nova is a Sunlight Covenant guy. I believe it's called Champions of the Sun or something. Either way, he's a Sun bro, and he actually had some good gear. This guy had the Pursuer's number. Kind of like how I did with the Dragon Rider. This guy parried several of this guy's devastating attacks. This is how a Phantom should wage a fight. It should not be the host needs to be constantly put in jeopardy. The host should be able to function in the fight. And this guy just wrecked the Pursuer. It was just amazing. I was impressed. I mean, just look at this. The guy never even got a hit in on me or anyone else, really. Alright, so this concludes episode 15. This is Omega 99 Nemesis signing out, and I'd like to thank Subarch Nova for the Lion Mage set.